While Apple's iPhone 17 hits $1,200, Elon Musk just unveiled the Tesla Pi phone at $789, with lifetime free Starlink internet included. This isn't just another smartphone, it's eliminating your monthly internet bills forever. But how can Tesla offer foldable tech, aerospace materials, and free global connectivity at this price? There's something bigger happening here that most people are missing. Let's dive right in. Here's what makes the Tesla Pi phone fundamentally different from anything Apple or Samsung has built. While the iPhone 17 lineup offers incremental improvements starting at $799 for the base model and climbing to $1,249 for the Pro Max, Musk's team engineered something unprecedented: a foldable device at $789 using Grade 6 titanium, the same material that protects SpaceX rockets during atmospheric re-entry. And here's what few people realize. Apple's decision to thin down the iPhone 17 Air to just 0.22 inches came at a devastating cost. Battery capacity dropped to a mere 2,800 mAh, forcing users back to daily charging anxiety. Think of it this way. Apple's Grade 5 titanium is like premium kitchen cutlery, strong and lightweight. Tesla's Grade 6 titanium is spacecraft armor, designed to withstand extreme pressure differentials and temperature swings from negative 250 degrees Fahrenheit to 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. This isn't marketing hyperbole. These are the actual specifications aerospace engineers work with when designing vehicles that must survive space. The engineering challenge was immense. How do you create a hinge mechanism that folds thousands of times without failure while maintaining structural integrity? Samsung's Galaxy Fold series already struggles with this after 18 months of use. Tesla's solution, the Flex Hinge, a multi-rail system that distributes stress across 7 contact points instead of the 2 or 3 used by competitors. But there's a detail most people overlook. The real breakthrough isn't the materials, it's the integration philosophy. The Pi phone houses a 6,145 mAh aluminum-ion battery, more than double the iPhone 17 Air's capacity, and even exceeding the iPhone 16 Pro Max's 4,676 mAh. Here's why this matters. Aluminum-ion chemistry operates fundamentally differently than lithium-ion. Instead of degrading after 500 to 800 charge cycles like current iPhones, aluminum-ion maintains 90% capacity after 2,000 cycles. We'll come back to this point later, but in practical terms, that means 5 to 7 years of daily use, without battery replacement, while iPhone users typically need new batteries after 24 months. The display technology tells an even more compelling story. Unfolded, you get 8.0 inches of dynamic AMOLED 2X technology with variable refresh rates from 1 Hz to 120 Hz. When you're reading text, the screen drops to 1 Hz to save power. During gaming or video, it ramps up to 120 Hz for smooth motion. The peak brightness hits 2,600 nits. That's bright enough to use outdoors in direct Nevada desert sunlight at noon. And here's what's truly noteworthy. Tesla integrated photovoltaic cells directly into the back panel. These aren't bulky solar panels. They're ultra-thin layers developed from Tesla's solar roof technology. In emergency situations, just 4 hours of sunlight provides enough power for basic communications and GPS navigation. Combined with Starlink connectivity, this creates something no smartphone has ever offered: true independence from infrastructure. As we'll see in the next section, this leads to a remarkable discovery about how Tesla plans to eliminate your monthly bills forever. But this is just the beginning. What's really surprising is how Tesla solved the connectivity problem that has plagued smartphones for decades. Traditional smartphones depend on cell towers, physical infrastructure that covers maybe 85% of Earth's land surface and virtually none of the oceans. Your iPhone 17, no matter how advanced, becomes a $1,200 paperweight the moment you leave cellular coverage. Starlink operates on a completely different principle. With over 4,000 satellites already in orbit at 550 kilometers altitude and tens of thousands more planned, the constellation provides global coverage with 20 to 30 millisecond latency. But here's where things get interesting. The Pi phone doesn't just access Starlink. It includes lifetime service at no additional cost. Let's do the math that Apple doesn't want you thinking about. The average American household spends $85 to $90 monthly on internet service alone. That's over $1,000 annually. Add your typical 3-year smartphone life cycle, and you're looking at $3,240 just for connectivity. The iPhone 17 Pro Max at $1,249 plus 3 years of internet costs totals $4,489. The Pi phone? $789, period. And here's what few people realize about the technical implementation. The Pi phone's built-in phased array antenna connects directly to overhead satellites, delivering speeds up to 250 megabits per second anywhere on Earth with clear sky access. No more dead zones in rural areas, no more international roaming fees that can hit $15 per day when traveling. Why would Tesla accept this financial risk? Because Musk isn't just selling phones. He's disrupting the entire telecommunications industry. Companies like Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile generate combined annual revenues exceeding $400 billion from connectivity services. Tesla is positioning to capture a significant portion of that market by 2027. The competitive response reveals just how threatening this approach is. Apple reportedly accelerated their satellite communication timeline from 2026 to late 2025. Samsung announced partnerships with OneWeb for future Galaxy devices. But they're playing catch-up to Tesla's 4-year head start in satellite internet technology. And most importantly, they lack the integrated ecosystem that makes Tesla's approach economically viable. But there's something bigger happening here that most people are missing. When Tesla's robotaxi fleet launches, these vehicles will need constant, reliable connectivity everywhere they operate. The Pi phone becomes a testing ground for that technology, with consumer sales subsidizing the infrastructure development. The timeline significance cannot be overstated. Tesla plans Pi phone delivery by Q3 2025, just as Starlink reaches 12,000 active satellites, enough for truly global coverage, including polar regions and mid-ocean service. This timing isn't coincidental. Industry analysts project that by 2028, if satellite-direct smartphones prove reliable, 50 million Americans will cut traditional carrier ties entirely. That represents a $50 billion annual market shift from terrestrial to space-based communications. And this is where things get truly revolutionary. And here's why this changes everything. This isn't really about phones competing with phones anymore. Tesla is creating something unprecedented. A unified ecosystem that spans your pocket, your driveway, your rooftop, and soon, your entire home automation. The Pi phone becomes the command center for Tesla vehicles, Powerwall energy storage, solar roof installations, and eventually Optimus humanoid robots. Here's a scenario that shows why the iPhone 17's incremental improvements pale in comparison. You're driving home from work in your Tesla vehicle. Your Pi phone, connected via Starlink, communicates with your house's Powerwall system. It analyzes your typical energy usage patterns, checks solar production forecasts, and pre-cools your home using stored solar energy before peak electricity rates kick in at 4 p.m. But here's what's truly noteworthy. Your Tesla vehicle's battery can supplement your house power during outages, all coordinated through the phone's XOS operating system. Try doing that with an iPhone and a Ford. The integration simply doesn't exist. The software advantage is where Tesla completely separates from traditional smartphone makers. XOS runs on Linux architecture with zero data harvesting, no advertisements, and complete local processing through Tesla's proprietary neural chips. While iPhone users worry about privacy breaches and Android users deal with fragmented updates that arrive months late, Pi phone owners get military-grade security with seamless integration across all Tesla products. And here's a detail most people overlook: the durability factor that makes the buy every 2 to 3 years smartphone cycle obsolete. Internal Tesla testing documents suggest the Pi phone withstands 4-meter drops onto concrete with only cosmetic damage, compared to iPhone 17's 2-meter drop protection. The sapphire glass covering scores 9 on the Mohs hardness scale. Only diamond ranks higher. Combined with nanoceramic coatings and internal water expulsion systems that exceed IP68 ratings, this device targets 5 to 7-year lifespans instead of the typical replacement cycle. From a total cost perspective, iPhone users might purchase 2 to 3 devices over 6 years at $2,400 plus $6,000 plus in internet costs. Pi phone users, $789 total. The economic disruption extends far beyond smartphones into multiple trillion-dollar industries. Telecommunications companies face existential threats as satellite direct devices eliminate cellular dependence. Traditional phone manufacturers must either develop competing satellite systems or accept dramatically reduced market share. Even streaming services need new strategies when users have unlimited global bandwidth without monthly costs. What happens if Tesla captures just 10% of the global smartphone market by 2028? That's 130 million users with permanent Starlink access, creating the world's largest private satellite internet customer base overnight. The network effects become self-reinforcing as more users join the ecosystem. But there's a question most analysts aren't asking. What if this succeeds beyond Tesla's projections? By 2030, we might look back at the Pi phone launch as the moment telecommunications infrastructure fundamentally shifted from terrestrial towers to space-based networks, changing how humanity stays connected across the planet. The challenges ahead are real. Regulatory approval in different countries, scaling satellite production to meet explosive demand, and proving long-term battery performance claims under real-world conditions. But Tesla's track record speaks volumes. They've disrupted automotive, energy storage, and space launch industries using similar integrated ecosystem approaches. The iPhone 17 represents the peak of incremental smartphone evolution. The Tesla Pi phone represents the beginning of something entirely different, a unified technology ecosystem that makes traditional smartphones look as outdated as flip phones did in 2007. This is exactly why Musk positioned the Pi phone at $789. It's not about selling devices. It's about proving that space-based infrastructure can eliminate Earth's connectivity limitations entirely. What this means is, we're witnessing the first step toward true technological independence from terrestrial systems. The bigger picture connects directly to SpaceX's Mars colonization timeline. Future Mars settlers will need communication networks that don't depend on ground infrastructure. The Pi phone becomes the testing ground for interplanetary communication technology. funded by everyday consumers who just want better smartphones. And this is just the beginning. By 2026, we'll see competing satellite constellations from Amazon, Apple, and traditional carriers scrambling to match Tesla's integrated approach. The space economy is shifting from government contracts to consumer applications, and Tesla just proved the model works. Here's what I'm curious about. How do you think traditional carriers will respond when millions of users potentially cut their monthly bills forever? Will they adapt or fight regulatory battles? This is Tech Revolution, and we dive deep into the breakthrough technologies reshaping our world. If you want more analysis on how space tech impacts everyday life, you know where to find us. The smartphone industry just got its SpaceX moment. Everything that seemed impossible yesterday becomes inevitable tomorrow.